we've got the latest from a House hearing on the Southern Poverty Law Center. It's ongoing right now. It's coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. Headlines on the way in less than 2 minutes. If you were watching us on YouTube, apparently it crashed, but we got a new YouTube link up and running. If only we had someone on staff who was working full-time to address these kinds of issues so that way they wouldn't keep popping up.
It would be a miracle. See if we can get somebody hired.
All right, we'll keep you updated on that.
Listen, I can't fight back Big Zoo every time they attack.
Okay.
Our defenses are low, but I'm building them over time.
Yep. I don't know. Somebody wants me to bring the zoo back up.
I just did. Too bad.
Well, 0409 texted in.
What'd they say?
Chris, the next time you bring up the zoo, and I know you will, tell the people the truth that we all know is the truth. Those animals are being held in captivity, never to roam freely in the wild as God intended. If people want to see animals, they should book an African safari so they can see them in their God-given natural habitat. Hell, it'll be cheaper than going to the zoo. You're right, but I'm of the opinion that God put the animals here for our entertainment, and food. Entertainment and food.
So does that mean...
I don't really, the captivity thing doesn't bother me.
But does that lean towards you pro-zoo?
No. I'm anti-zoo.
Pro-animal captivity.
Yeah, pro-captivity, actually. Yes, yes. Well, you've seen what happens in those backyard zoos.
Yeah.
Remember the one in Ohio?
Remember the zebra in Murfreesboro?
Dude, the zebra in Murfreesboro, I was rooting for him.
Almost.
I was very pro wild zebra. Also pro captivity. I know.
Only pro wild zebra is crazy.
It conflicts. There's a lot of conflicting viewpoints. Try living as me for a day.
I was say, welcome to the Chris Ann Show.
Here's the thing. They belong in cages. I just don't want to be charged an arm and a leg to see them.
Just bring the prices down.
Bring the prices down. I could be pro zoo.
$1,400?
To charge me $14,000 to go to the zoo. That's not cool. But in Ohio, I'm pro little guy zoo. You know, I'm more of a Tiger King kind of zoo guy myself. I like my lions that are being fed old bologna. That's what I like. That there's that sense that they could get out at any moment.
A little danger.
Yeah.
You like living on precursor to Jurassic Park era zoo.
Yes.
These creatures could get out. They could eat me, and that's the fun.
Sign this waiver before you enter.
No waivers. We don't do that here.
I'm just letting you know. I have a lot of conflicting opinions in my own head all the time.
Pro captivity.
Wild. What? 10:01 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your news update. A hearing in the House of Representatives underway right now on the charges of fraud brought against the Southern Poverty Law Center. Congressman Jim Jordan chairs the House Judiciary Committee. He claims the Biden administration dropped a case against the organization years ago.
They knew the SPLC was doing this, but they didn't pursue the case. They dropped the case. Because when you meet with them, when you consult with them, when you have them train your prosecutors, you're not going to prosecute them. Nope, you're not going to do it because it's too valuable politically.
The SPLC was indicted recently by a federal grand jury in Alabama on 11 counts, alleging that it misused donated funds to pay informants inside extremist groups and to deceive banks. There's an active barricade situation that continues in Clarksville this morning. It began last night. Police are still asking people along Sturtevant Drive to stay in their homes. They had been called to that neighborhood last night because of a fight That's when a man walked into a home and refused to come out. Here's Channel 4's Holly Thompson.
Investigators say he has an order prohibiting him from being in this specific area. And we're told he is refusing to cooperate with police and that crisis negotiators have now been brought in to help.
It's not clear if anybody else is inside that home with him. A gas station cashier in Hermitage is recovering at a hospital after trying to stop some shoplifters last night. This happened at the MAPCO on Lebanon Pike about 9:30 last night. That employee chasing the shoplifters into the parking lot. And that's when one of the shoplifters produced a gun and shot the clerk. Police are using camera footage. So far, they have not tracked him down. Hibbett Sports is closing down 175 of its nearly 1,000 stores around the U.S. over the next 3 years. It's part of a cost-cutting strategy. These are smaller stores in underperforming locations. The owners have not said which stores will be closing. And a record number of exports helped the U.S. to narrow its trade deficit in April.
The difference between what the country exports and what it imports fell by 1.2% in April in this delayed report from the Census Bureau. U.S. imports of goods and services that month stood at $383 billion. Its exports at $327 billion. Both imports and exports were gaining momentum.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan reporting petroleum exports hit a record high in April. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Mason and I were just laughing off the air.
Like hysterically.
Hysterically. I'm anti-zoo, but I'm pro-captivity.
What a line.
Trolling is an art, and you gotta know how to do it right. And I feel
Only
like
a special type of person can piss off both sides of the radio.
I feel like I'm the best troll on the radio station. I can do it flawlessly. I troll better than anyone. And I said, yeah, I'm anti-zoo. I'm pro-captivity. Lock them up. I just
don't want to see him.
Yeah, just get him away
Don't
from
let
me.
him out.
Yeah, put him somewhere else. Golly.
Keep him in the zoo. Doors closed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shouldn't have got caught. Sorry.
Should have been born in a different place.
That's your problem, not mine.
Figure it out.
Yeah. So anti-zoo, pro-captivity. So I got a text from Matt Murphy.
I was going to say, do you want to bring that up?
I got a text from Matt Murphy, the afternoon guy. And he said the anti-zoo hot takes are fire. I said, I told you I was going full anti-zoo. And I'm not pro-data center, I'm just anti-zoo. And Matt Murphy said, screw those critters. I got TikTok to watch. It's true. Have you seen the Instagram account Nature is Metal?
That sounds familiar.
It's basically a spin-off with real footage of the Family Guy. Damn, Nature, you scary. Remember that?
Yeah.
So it's basically like a damn, Nature, you scary. But it's just like
just constant updates.
Yeah, and it's just, animals doing wild animal
stuff.
things. Yeah. Way better than any zoo. Don't get charged to watch. Just letting you know.
They just steal your information instead.
Yeah,
it's already out there.
What? 1067 said, hi, Chris. Hello.
Hello.
In Ohio, you ready? Oh, you ready for
We're back to Ohio.
Hold on. We're going even further anti-zoo. You ready for this? In Ohio, you can use your food stamp card to go to the zoo. So now we're subsidizing these places? So, excuse me, you're using my federal tax dollars to subsidize your zoo voyage? No. I'm way, way more anti-zoo than I was when I started the show.
Well, listen, we didn't say it was a perfect system.
Yeah, it's a system, all right.
Yeah.
It's a system of oppression.
What color is Ohio right now?
Is it red?
I don't know. So I'm asking you.
I don't know. They have like a Republican governor, Mike DeWine, but then he like vetoes. He's on his way out. I think, and maybe Vivek wins, maybe he doesn't. That's a toss up. But the Republican governor there, he like vetoes anti-trans kids legislation, and then it's like, why'd you do that, Mike? And it's like, oh, turns out you got a bunch of donations from hospitals that do trans kid surgeries. That's weird.
That's suspicious.
If I'm being fair, I'm far more anti-Ohio than I am anti-zoo.
Yeah, can we just stamp Ohio with that?
If we should have a leaderboard in the back of things.
All the states?
No, just things I don't like. Ohio would be pretty high up on the list and like right under it.
Are we doing just top 10 or are you hitting like a full 100?
Be the zoo. No, I think I would do top 10. We'll do that on a slow news day.
I'm here for that.
The top 10 things that we need to work to
tune in tomorrow
to eliminate. Ohio is up there.
The lightning round's going to go crazy.
The lightning round is, they're not prepared.
They're not ready.
Yep. Somebody said, you get to decide where to go. Why shouldn't people on SNAP program have same choices? What? So you're on SNAP because you're hungry and you get to go to the zoo for free?
Well, yeah, you get to pick out which lion you're having for lunch.
Are we eating the kangaroos?
You have to be, I guess.
If that was the case, that the SNAP program was taking the elderly kangaroos before they were put down and harvesting them for meat, then I'd be all for it.
Which animal would you eat?
Emu.
That's fair.
Emu. I know an emu guy.
Really?
Yeah. I do, actually.
You do live in Murfreesboro.
I do. I know an emu guy, and he called into the show a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about alpha gal with the ticks.
Yeah.
And he said, when you get the alpha gal, you can still eat emu. And I thought that's weird. And then he was like, no, for real. and he actually came to the Glock store. Then he introduced himself. He said, "I'm the emu guy."
Do you think the ticks were introduced by the big emu?
I think that the Lone Star tick was absolutely engineered by Big Emu. They're trying to wedge out the big cow. That's fine.
Won't be turkeys on Thanksgiving.
No.
Big emu.
It's going to be another bird that don't fly.
And also fast.
Very fast. By the way, Hakeem Jeffries.
He looks like the older grandpa going to a birthday party that hasn't been out in a while.
He does. Like, this is like his first day out.
Very bright.
Yeah, like, what is he wearing? I don't understand. It's like he's got all these white things on, but they're all different shades of white. You notice that? Like,
I thought those were shades of pink. I must be colorblind.
They're all different shades of white, which bugs me a bit.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, it would be right under zoo.
Right under zoo.
Right under zoo.
This outfit from Hakeem Jeffries.
Different shades of white. If you go to an all-white party, but you're wearing different shades of white. It's Ohio. It's zoos. Different shades of white. Got a lot of things. Anyway, he's wearing all these different shades of white. He's being asked about California elections, and he says that all of this is being manufactured by Donald Trump because Trump is going to lose the midterms.
Peter Jeffries, looking at the state of California, the state has rampant SNAP fraud, hospice fraud, immigration fraud. Are we really supposed to believe there's no election fraud in California? And
Bingo.
if there's no election fraud, then why would California Democrats refuse a federal audit?
California is a great place to live. I appreciate the leadership of Governor Gavin Newsom, as well as, of course, the California delegation, which is a tremendous group of public servants. There is no election fraud in California. Donald Trump is making it up. He can't point to a shred of evidence to prove his point. This is all a conspiracy theory because Donald Trump knows in November he's going down in flames electorally and Republicans are about to lose the House.
Are we? Hey, fun fact. Republicans are now favored to win the House in the U.S. midterms, the 2026 midterms. This is the latest Inside Elections forecast. We only need just one, of the 14 toss-ups to obtain the majority. Right now, there are 217 safe Republican seats, 204 safe Democrat seats, and 14 toss-up seats. Now, for a second, imagine if the conservatives in Indiana and South Carolina had been able to redraw, we'd already be over the 218 needed for a majority. This is why we need conservatives to fight. 100%. But we should keep pushing. We should keep pushing to pass the Save America Act. We should keep our feet on the gas here because states like California are going to do what states like California do, and it's not going to pass the sniff test. We need more. We need more fight from conservatives. And we're crossing our fingers, we're crossing our toes, we're crossing everything. We're hoping for it. We're not gonna bet on it, but we're hoping for it. As the midterms go on, it does look like the House is harder to win for the Democrats. Again, I just mentioned the toss-ups, but Hakeem Jeffries, he's pushing a new affordability agenda. He's drafted it, and get ready for this. He's putting some people in charge of things. He put AOC in charge of healthcare. Okay. And he put a trans Democrat, Tim McBride, Sarah McBride, depending on who you ask. He put that trans Democrat in charge of caregiving. Breitbart has a story. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries took action toward drafting an affordability agenda for 2027 that puts Rep. AOC, a Democrat out of New York, in charge of health care, and transgender identifying Rep. Sarah McBride, Tim, Democrat out of Delaware, in charge of caregiving, according to multiple reports. Sarah Ferris, a Capitol Hill reporter with CNN, shared a photo on X that showed working groups for housing, gas, utilities, groceries and goods, caregiving, and healthcare. According to the photo shared by Ferris, Reps Laura Friedman and Emily Sykes were put in charge of the housing group. Reps Nikki Budzinski and Mike Levin were put in charge of the gas and utilities group. Rep Mary Glusenkamp-Perez and Hillary Scholten. You know what? I don't like her name. Put her under Ohio. Jill Takuda were also put in charge of groceries and goods. And Reps McBride, Morgan McGarvey were put in charge of the caregiving group, while Reps Ocasio-Cortez and Terry Sowell were put in charge of the healthcare group. Weird. In another post on X, Andrew Solender, a Congress reporter with Axios, shared a letter in which Jeffries stated that America is too expensive. Given the high cost of living, there are far too many hardworking taxpayers struggling to living paycheck to paycheck. Everyday Americans can't thrive and can barely survive. That is not acceptable. That is not an acceptable situation in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. Jeffries continued to criticize President Donald Trump and Republicans for having to promise lower costs. I mean, where was the same energy when Biden had inflation at 9%? Where was the same energy when Biden had gas prices at an all-time high? I don't think the Democrats have a plan here, and I think that Hakeem Jeffries put that on full display yesterday when he was asked about the plan for Democrats as they head towards the midterms. They said, what are your priorities to include in the first bill of a Democratic majority? And he said, we're working on it.
As Democrats consider their governing agenda, can you provide an update on what a potential H.R. 1 would look like? And what personally are your priorities to include in the first bill of the Democratic majority?
We're in the midst of having that conversation right now as a caucus, and we look forward to leaning in to those discussions. And it's going to be maximum engagement as it relates to ensuring that every part of the caucus has input on the governing agenda. But it is going to focus on affordability.
So no plan yet. No. I mean, this is the issue for Democrats, and it's always been the issue since I've been here on the air for the last 3 years, and it's going to continue being the issue. Their plan for like the last 10 years has been Orange Man bad. What are you guys going to do? Opposite of Trump. What if Donald Trump does something good? We'll tell you why it's bad. What if Donald Trump, what if he wants to help every Democrat voter in the country? No, that's terrible. That's terrible. What if he wants to make jobs come back? Nah, people hate jobs. Universal basic income is what we're pushing. We're going to see that. The Democrats have no plan. And CNN, they tend to agree. They look at the polling data, and when it comes to the major issues, Democrats are still underwater. And CNN, Harry Enton said at this point, what Americans think and what voters think that Democrats are offering, they're offering an agenda that is far too left on immigration. So you can tell us that you're going to push affordability, but when you let in millions of people and you're going to put them on health insurance, that's not exactly going to help affordability. When you let in millions of people and you let them get on SNAP benefits, that's not going to help affordability. When you let in millions upon millions of people and you want to give them free rent and free cell phones, that's not going to help affordability.
When it comes to the voters and they're looking at these two options, what do they want to see from Democrats when it comes to immigration? Where are Democrats failing in immigration?
Yeah, okay, where are Democrats failing? Because look at this, you got a 15-point switcheroo, right? Republicans are doing something right in the voters' minds, but more than that, Democrats are doing something wrong. What do voters want from Democrats? They want them to moderate. That's what they want. They want Democrats to move to the center on immigration. Immigration, Dems should move to the center. We're talking about 59% of all voters. But more than that, look at this. There is wide agreement across socioeconomic classes and racial and ethnicity classes. Look at this. 51% of black voters, 54% of Latino voters, 59% of white college voters, and 67%, let's come over to Erica's side of the screen, 67% of white non-college voters all agree they want Democrats to move to the center on immigration. Just 18% of voters want Democrats to shift to the left on immigration. So part of this is Donald Trump and the Republican Party and what they're implementing on immigration, but it's also what Democrats are offering. And at this point, what Americans think and voters think that Democrats are offering, they are offering an agenda that is too far to the left on immigration.
And the Democrats aren't getting the message. In fact, yesterday, when Hakeem Jeffries found out that ICE and CBP are going to be funded with $70 billion through 2029. He crashed out. We'll bring you that audio on the way. It's 10:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. And let's be honest, foundation issues, they're one of the things that homeowners just don't want to deal with. We'll see a crack. Maybe a door doesn't close right. The driveway starts sinking and you think, well, I'll get to it later. But here's the spoiler alert. Later means more expensive, and this is why you need to trust United Structural Systems. They've been doing the work since 1994 here in Tennessee, and what you can appreciate is their approach. They're not sending a sales guy worried about a quota. They're not going to get you with scare tactics, and they're not going to push an overselling agenda. They're actually going to take time to inspect your home, explain what's going on, and tell you the truth. I know it's a revolutionary concept. If you don't need repairs, they'll say it. If you do need repairs, they'll explain exactly why before they get started. And they handle everything from foundation repair to crawl space work to concrete leveling, and they do it with systems designed to last. Right now through the end of June, get peace of mind and pay later with 24 months, no interest financing. Don't let foundation problems get worse while you wait. Visit USSTN.com or call 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. USSTN.com.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Coming up, a pilot arrested, charged with flying without a license. It's coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Wait, the pilot was flying without a license?
Yeah, sure was.
Was he flying for FedEx?
No.
Because I know that this happens a lot in the trucking industry.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if there was any correlation.
No, there's no correlation.
You're saying there's no correlation.
It's just a plane full of people, that's all.
Joan, why do you have to pick on the undocumented pilots? I never hear any. You never hear a negative story from Joan about the documented pilots.
Well, I'm racist that way.
She only picks on the undocumented. Yeah. All right, we'll get to the hate-filled newscast in less than 4 minutes on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Speaking of the undocumented, while the voters think that the left is too far left when it comes to immigration, a guy that wants to be Speaker of the House, he's absolutely crashing out when it comes to ICE and CBP being funded through 2029, the end of Donald Trump's term. Fox News had the call of the game yesterday.
The U.S. Senate has passed the Secure America Act, a $70 billion package funding immigration enforcement agencies, including ICE and Customs and Border Protection. But now it heads to the House. Minority Leader Hakeem says Democrats are ready to fight back.
House Democrats are going to strongly oppose this $70 billion reckless Republican budget bill because we believe that taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people in an environment where the Trump economy is crashing in real time, the cost of living is out of control, gas prices have skyrocketed as a result of this reckless and costly war of choice, and Donald Trump wants to spend $70 billion in taxpayer money to continue to unleash mass and untrained ICE agents on law-abiding immigrant families, and in some cases, brutally target or kill American citizens.
Stunning and brave. Okay, we'll work in reverse order, okay? Renee Nicole Good tried to run over an ICE agent with her car. Alex Preddy was in a bad place to be, kicking out taillights on ICE agents' vehicles, and he was an agitator. 100%, full stop. Sorry, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. We want to make life more affordable. We should be using taxpayer dollars wisely. Again, we had a super texter reach out to us and say in Ohio, you can use your SNAP benefits to get into the zoo. Is that using our tax dollars wisely? Andrea texted in. She said, I had to look it up. Wow, the super texter was serious. This is BS. So we're paying for their food with our tax dollars, paying for our own food, and now we pay for them to go to the dang zoo for free. Wow, I can't even afford to take my own family to the zoo. And you can use Snap EBT card and matching photo ID at the zoo's ticket window in Ohio. It's weird. And if we're talking about making life more affordable, I think getting rid of illegal aliens would help. I do. Maybe we wouldn't have the undocumented showing up to our hospitals in the emergency rooms, getting free health care because they can't be turned away, and then those costs being passed on to you and I and our families. Maybe, just maybe. Maybe if we didn't have to subsidize everything for these individuals, the prices would come down automatically. Weird. Maybe that's a radical thing to think. Maybe I've had too much to think. On the immigration front, the DOJ is actually moving to strip citizenship of migrant criminals. The law-abiding migrants that Hakeem Jeffries was talking about. Even though, you're absolutely breaking the law by coming to this country illegally. And if we did that with any other country, we would be dealt with as such. But, different rules here in America if you're a Democrat voter. The DOJ is seeking a zero-tolerance policy, and they're looking at migrant criminals, and they want to get them out. And if they have U.S. citizenship, they want to strip them of that. I'll bring you that story when we get back. It's 10:30 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A Nashville man is in jail this morning accused of exposing himself at a public park with children playing nearby. WSMV4 reports this happened on Sunday at Fannie Mae Dees Park, which is next to Harris Hillman School. Somebody called police to report that 66-year-old Ronald Fisher's actions. He was charged with public indecency, but he bonded out of jail yesterday. He's due in court next in August. A positive report on the U.S. economy. Existing home sales rose 3.2% in May, and the median price of an existing home sold in May was up 1.3%, now at more than $429,000. The numbers were rosier than economists were expecting. A senior Air Canada pilot has been arrested on fraud charges. His bosses say he's been flying hundreds of flights without a license.
Officials say the investigation began after a random certification check revealed inconsistencies. The airline denies safety was ever compromised, saying all pilots at Air Canada undergo mandatory recurrent training every 6 months, but acknowledging the licensing process is essential. The airline saying it takes this matter with utmost seriousness.
That's ABC's Hannah Battah. And Murfreesboro is getting its own air traffic control tower. News 2 reports the FAA has just accepted the borough into its contract tower program.
FAA crews were recently at the airport to determine what sites would work best for the project and how tall the tower should be. Federal grants are expected to cover 90 to 100% of the construction costs. The program will also allow Murfreesboro to staff air traffic controllers and help operate the tower.
That's News 2's Alicia Wemberly. Construction begins in 2028. That's the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults, our veteran-owned, family-run safe and vault door business right here in Middle Tennessee. We all want a safe. We know we need one, but there's a lot of questions before we get there. We've been putting it off because we got to figure out which one to buy, where to put it, how to get it installed. Well, this is exactly what my friend Aaron Parker and his sons will help you figure out. For starters, jump on their YouTube page. Search Parker Safes on YouTube. Find a detailed video review of every safe they have in stock. From there, they'll offer advice on the best place to put it, deliver it, and carefully install it themselves discreetly and professionally. They got some great deals on on safes in stock right now. Words matter. And they got some great ones. Not big box store cabinets that can be tipped over by a teenager and pried open. Those are filing cabinets. Real safes from American Security, Rhino, Liberty, and Heyman. Don't put it off any longer. Call Aaron today. 931-842-6445. 931-842-6445. It's Parker Safes and Vaults. Mention the Chris Hand Show and get a free pistol safe when you buy a safe while supplies last. ParkerSafes.com. Pete Hegseth speaking earlier. They've gathered all of the top generals in the entire world, brought them to Quantico and said, stop being fat and gay. Maybe I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's generally the message that we're getting.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. We are done with that shit. Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
Stop being so fat and so gay. Let's focus on the mission. If you can do the job, you're welcomed here. No matter your sexual orientation or your skin color, but we're getting back to merit. 37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm getting rabbit holed. Do you know this? The super texters are sending me off on a wild goose chase, which can only happen outside of a zoo. But it's a wild goose chase nonetheless. So I made it explicitly known I am anti-zoo. I'm not pro-data center. I'm just anti-zoo. And somebody texted in and they said, guys, you know what they do in Ohio? I said, I don't. What do they do in Ohio? He said, well, if you're on Snap, you can get into the zoo in Ohio for free. And then I'm like, great. So I'm subsidizing these zoos, which is garbage. And then another texter let me know, we subsidize museum use here in Tennessee as well. Do we?
It's nothing sacred anymore.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America. So, while I've never been to the Parthenon Museum,
highly recommend.
I'm out now.
Well, yeah, no.
I've already paid for it because admission to the Parthenon in Centennial Park in Nashville completely free for SNAP and WIC participants. Up to 4 people per EBT card.
4 people per?
4 people per EBT card.
So you're saying only one of us has to get one?
Exactly. And then we all get in for free?
We all get in for free.
Well, let's do it, boys.
Who's on Snap?
Who's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know who's on third.
Dude, I played that for my kids the other day.
Did you really?
They died laughing. You ever heard that? The Abbott and Costello?
It's so good.
Who's on first?
I love it.
They thought it was hysterical.
When they ask for a signature, I can put an X for Fritz.
Let's go. I just know, so we're subsidizing. We're subsidizing the Parthenon. Tear it down. That's prime real estate.
What are you going to put there?
Sell it.
Jack in the Box?
Apartment buildings. That's what we need more of, actually.
We need so many more, of course. You're right, Chris Hand. More apartment buildings.
Less museums, more apartments.
Let's make profit here.
What are we doing? It's losing money. We have to subsidize them.
Let's put a data center there.
There you go. Then nobody will complain about the little animals. Ken, am I wrong in thinking that if the data center was going up next to an elderly home, nobody would have cared?
You know what, dude? I can't say you're wrong.
They would have been like light pollution, and they would have said they can't see. They would have said noise pollution. They would have said they can't hear.
What's it matter?
Yeah, who cares? They're not sleeping anyway. They get up 15 times during the night to use the bathroom. So, that's just...
Gonna let that sit there.
I don't sleep. Barely sleep anyway.
You got to be careful when you jump into a conversation with Brother Hand, man. I'm telling you right now.
Welcome to the show, Ken. This has been my morning.
Dude, it's literally everything. We subsidize everything. Running out of ideas on how to entertain your kids this summer without breaking the bank?
Get an EBT card.
Dude, what in the world?
Used to be able to go to the library, but that's dangerous now.
Yeah. Can't take your kids in there.
Yeah, or the parking lot. It'll be on fire. Museums for All launched the initiative in 2014. Aims to encourage individuals to visit museums regularly, build lifelong habits. You can get, in order to receive free admission, attendees must present an EBT card or WIC card along with a photo ID for the Parthenon, $3 for the Frist Art Museum, $3 for the Discovery Center at Murphy Spring, $3 at Customs House Museum and Cultural Center, Cheekwood Estate and Gardens, $3, a museum in Columbia, Children's Museum, $2. At least they're paying something.
At least they're asking for ID.
Yeah.
They're carding people.
It's not like voting in California.
Yeah, where you can present your Planet Fitness card.
Yeah, no, they're not going that far. Don't worry. Still, I'm upset. Families with EBT can visit these museums in Middle Tennessee.
They're not voting in our state. They're just
taking advantage of everyone else's tax dollars.
Yeah.
Because somebody's paying for that, right? Like
us.
It's not just like a discount.
No.
Like somebody has to pay for that.
Yeah.
So Very disappointed. Every time I think I'm doing good for my family, I'm like, man, if only I was broke, we could go to all of this stuff for free. It's just, what?
Go to the zoo.
Yeah.
Look at the dinosaurs, Chris.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm still upset about the Dino Trek part.
I know you are.
It's not even a real animal exhibit. It's fake dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs were real.
I'm like, oh, what? You're going to the zoo. What do your kids want to see? The dinosaurs? Oh, you mean the
statues?
The statues. They're going for the statues.
Well, now there are speakers that makes it sound like they're hissing.
Here's the other thing, and I brought this up earlier, Ken. First of all, I think you can make the argument dinosaurs didn't exist at all. I think you can.
We have their bones.
People say they're fake. Here's the thing.
Well, people think
I'll concede the dinosaurs are a real argument, but I will firmly dig my heels in on the fact that nobody has any idea if they roared.
That's right.
Like they were big squawkers.
They could have, cock-a-doodle-doo like a rooster. We have no idea.
What if they just beeped?
They might have.
They sound like Nashville traffic on the way in.
Yeah.
Just car horn sounds.
It's very disappointing.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Would have been interesting.
I'm not exactly impressed with the zoo.
I mean, with the more now that I think about it, the more they relate dinosaurs to birds, your theory is starting to become a little more plausible.
How do we know they didn't have feathers?
A lot of people talk about how they have feathers now.
They're jumping on the bandwagon.
That's what I'm saying.
I've been saying that for years.
Dinosaurs are birds, and birds aren't real.
So you follow it to its natural conclusion. There was an advanced society before us that built advanced dinosaur drones. Obviously.
That wasn't where I was going, but I see your jumping
I feel like
logic
that's the
there.
natural conclusion.
Linear progression. There's no squirreling in this conversation at all.
Here's the thing. You can find old Egyptian hieroglyphics that look like helicopters, none that look like dinosaurs.
Do you think the Egyptians had to use EBT cards to view the pyramids?
That's a rabbit hole too deep for me. Do you think the Egyptians had EBT cards in general?
No. It's slave labor.
Hey. Got some pyramids out of the deal.
True. I was about to ask, do you think aliens did it, or do you think...
I don't know. I don't buy the alien stuff. I think they're demons.
I agree.
And I still get a guy, he tweets me all the time. He's like, what?
You don't believe?
Like, how do you think that they're demons? You don't think that God could have created life elsewhere? I'm like, I think they're demons. So he's like, what?
I definitely think ghosts and stuff are demons.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah. I don't know.
Grandma Judas ain't coming back.
Well, I'll tell you this. If I'm in heaven, I'm not coming back.
I appreciate that.
It's a much better spot to be in, I guarantee it, to be in heaven than back here.
I would think so.
From what I know, what I've learned.
I feel like purgatory could be an improvement at times. If we're being perfectly honest. At least in purgatory, you're not like running into the undocumented illegal aliens that are getting free boobs from California.
That they're not attacking you in the streets.
Senate Leader John Thune, speaking of California, you ready for Radio Segway Gold?
Get it.
Senate Leader John Thune says California election fraud must be proven before we can be so sure. He was on Morning Squawk a little while ago, and I think that we should just tell him to pass the Save America Act, and then we don't have to worry about it at all, right? Wouldn't that be the thing? Mike Johnson says it doesn't pass the sniff test. Leader John Thune says, whoa, fellas. We have no idea.
Can't do it, but you're not going to get any Democratic support on that. What is the problem with what is their position as to why that doesn't make sense to show voter ID? And I can think of some good reasons why you wouldn't want to if you were a Democrat, but this isn't the way it should be done. How do we strengthen our notion that voting has integrity in this country?
Right. Well, and I think that's a question for the Democrats who block voted against the very simple issue of voter ID, which we've put on the floor now a couple of different times. We've had the entire Save America Act on the floor a couple of times, too. But we've had the specific rifle shot vote, if you will, on whether or not you have to show a photo to vote in this country. And every single Democrat voted against it.
This guy has absolutely no fight. Low energy. Somebody subsidize a low T membership for John Thune, because there is absolutely no fight in him. You know that the Democrats, if they ever regain power, will absolutely, this is not hyperbole, they have said it themselves, from Kamala Harris to Nancy Pelosi to Hakeem, Timu, Obama, Jeffries, they will make D.C. and Puerto Rico a state. They will amnesty 30 million illegals. They will stack the Supreme Court. They will make this country unrecognizable day one. Yet, John Thune is like, well, gee whiz, guys. You're going to have to ask the Democrats why they won't vote for voter ID. It's like, we know why they won't vote for voter ID, John. Everyone knows, John. Get off your ass and work, John. How long do we have to deal with a feckless Senate Majority Leader like John Thune, who is anti-Trump? He has been for a while. Everybody knows it. And he has absolutely failed to get the Trump agenda over the finish line. Nuke the filibuster and get on with it. What? Why? Oh, gee whiz, Senate traditions, guys. Oh, the same Senate traditions that the Democrats will absolutely throw into the trash bin of history if they ever have the opportunity to do. And you're going to give them an opportunity to do that by not nuking the filibuster to do common sense things like the Save America Act. Weak. It's like we were just talking about the midterms. And right now, the Republicans are favored to win the U.S. House. They only need one of the 14 toss-ups, okay? Just one. But if it wasn't for weak conservatives, this would be completely a slam dunk. Because if Indiana and South Carolina had redrawn, then we'd already be over the 218 needed for the majority. But once again, we are foiled, not by the Democrats, but by weak-ass Republicans. Soft. S-A-W-F-T. Soft. Sorry, John, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And it does beg the question, and you see a state like California, and Joe, you always hear about states being the laboratories of democracy, and if there are lessons learned from some of these states like California, it's that this is a really stupid way to run elections, because it undermines the confidence and trust that people in California...
Did he say twust? Did he say... Sorry.
I was going to try and let it slide, but...
I'm not. He said twust.
It's that this is a really stupid way to run elections, because it undermines the confidence and trust that people...
Oh, my gosh. Get him off the screen.
Get out of here.
Get him out.
He's been chasing that Wascowee Wabbit.
It's like, dude, we have no idea why the Democrats don't want voter ID. It could be anything, guys. It could be anything. Well, we know why they want the illegal aliens. Tom Homan said as much moments ago on National Report.
Politicians say, don't take my criminal illegal aliens. Let me keep them. Why would they do that to their citizens?
There are a couple of things. Number one is about hatred for President Trump. They don't want President Trump to have a win. Second of all, look, where we see with 4 years of open borders, with millions of illegal aliens, many of them criminals released in the United States, where was she then? She was complicit. She didn't say anything. And this is why. That 4 years open borders was an accident. It wasn't mismanagement. It wasn't incompetence. That was by design. Release millions of illegal aliens in our sanctuary cities. And they overturned the Trump census rule, which means they'd be counted in the next census, which means what? More seats in the House for the Dems. And they're hoping that another Democratic administration comes in and awards amnesty to millions of illegal aliens. This is about future political power. They don't care about national security. They don't care about public safety. All they care about is future political power.
Tom Homan is absolutely right. And the more that conservatives understand this, the better off we'll be. And if John Thune understands this, which I think he does, if he maybe put a little more twist in the president, we could nuke the filibuster and get the Save America Act passed so we wouldn't have to worry about this kind of junk. But we don't. We have weak, cowardly Republicans. Just, I don't know. I'm getting upset. Maybe we start talking about the zoo again. It's 10:52. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. And guys, Father's Day is coming up. We talked about what you need to do for mom for Mother's Day, but Father's Day, that's the big one. Everybody knows. And we got some great deals happening at the Glock Store. The perfect gift, Glock Store gift cards. Perfect for Father's Day. You can buy them in any denomination, which is my favorite option for a specific activity, like a 1-hour range session with a private instructor, including firearm rental. And yes, even if your dad has a Glock or 2 already, or even 10, the firearm rental is a great addition. He can try out the new Gen 6 Glocks, the latest red dot optics, and more, as well as suppressors like Dead Air, Surefire, Silencer Co. And if for some strange reason Dad doesn't want to jump into the range, he can use that gift card to buy any of the great gun gear the Glock Store is famous for. A Glock Store gift card, that is the Dad's Day gift of choice, and I guarantee you, your dad is going to love it. The Glock Store is minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, and always open online, glockstore.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. We have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
All right, drivers, we've got stuff in the way. A crash has closed East Division Street between Clemens Road and Old Lebanon Dirt Road in Mount Juliet. That is a box truck that left the road and hit a pole. And in West Nashville, injury crash, Charlotte Pike right there at I-40. Got an update on the dreaded New World screwworm that Tennessee officials are keeping a very close eye on. We'll tell you about it at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Headlines on the way in less than 3 minutes. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Josh Tifo's in studio. What's up, Josh?
I'm living the dream. I'm back on Tifo Tuesday on the Chris Hand Show. Mama, I made it.
Did you hear I went anti-zoo today?
Tell me more.
I'm not pro-data center. I'm just anti-zoo. I think it's overpriced. I think you're dealing with weather roulette. I think the gift shop at the exit is not good. So the entire zoo trip hinges on a $65 stuffed animal, if it's purchased or not. Not a fan. And I think it's overdone and overblown.
I think that they're trying to manipulate the American people. Are we going to be okay with that?
They're
trying to turn our children against us.
They are. Down with Big Zoo. Also, then we go off on this tangent. Do you know we're actually subsidizing these zoos?
I didn't know we subsidized them. That's crazy.
So in Ohio, you can get in for free with your EBT card. And then I went down another rabbit hole, Josh. You know that you can get into the Parthenon Museum in Nashville for free with your EBT card?
How do we get EBT cards? Hey, if you're listening to this and you can help us get an EBT card, please call into the show. I want to learn how to get this magic card.
We need it. Let's talk about data centers on the way. Also, I want to talk about something that Mike Lee said yesterday, and I feel like you're the guy to talk about it. And we'll take some calls on it too. Are Mormons Christian?
Look, I've got a lot of Mormon friends, and I'll just shoot straight with you all. Mormons are not Christians. We should take a lot of calls on this today. I'll break it down theologically, and let's bring 100% truth and 100% love today as we discuss it.
All right, I'll bring you what Mike Lee said, Senator Mike Lee, who's based, let's be honest, I like Mike Lee a lot.
Yeah, he's literally one of the best senators in America.
But he was very upset because 3 days ago now, the Pentagon recognized every Christian faith in America as Christian, except one, Mormons. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's because Mormonism is not.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. 5 cases and counting now. You got 3 cows and a goat in Texas and someone's pet dog in New Mexico found to be infested with this New World screwworm. But ABC's Jim Ryan says a debate is raging over what to do about it.
The federal government hopes to wipe out the screwworm fly by irradiating millions of them and releasing them onto the countryside to mate with non-sterile flies. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says,
our goal is to have enough sterile flies deployed and out into Texas and wherever else this happens to be before the next summer season.
The only method that we're fighting it with is sterile flies, which do not work.
Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller is advocating for insecticide baits, which he says are 95% effective in killing the screwworm fly. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Yeah, so no new cases, or rather no cases, period, of this screwworm have been found in Tennessee. State leaders continue to act fast to keep it that way. Animal movement being more tightly controlled, producers being told to inspect wounds and report anything suspicious immediately to protect Tennessee's beef industry. House Oversight Committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein. We'll hear from Leslie Groff, his executive assistant for 18 years. A search for her name in the Epstein files returns more than 150,000 results. Here's ABC News Chief Investigative Correspondent Darren Katursky.
Groff has denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes or any participation in them. But Maria Lacerda, who says she was 14 when she was first sexually abused by Epstein, told us she finds that hard to believe.
She should bring full accountability to this. I think she knows a lot more than what we think.
After Epstein died by suicide in jail, prosecutors identified Groff as a potential co-conspirator, but she faced no criminal charges. This is the second time she'll face questions about Epstein, but the first since talking to the FBI 5 years ago.
Americans on the move again last month. Despite rising interest rates and stubbornly high inflation, sales of existing homes surged in May. The 3.2% rise in existing home sales represents the highest level since December, easily exceeded housing industry expectations, but the distribution was far from even. The National Association of Realtors says month-over-month sales rose in the Northeast, Midwest, and South, but were unchanged in the West. And today, NASA announcing the crew for the next Artemis mission. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez in Houston.
This next mission is going to launch next year. It won't go to the moon. It's actually just going to orbit the Earth, but it's going to test the rendezvous and docking capabilities between NASA's Orion spacecraft and the lunar landers from Blue Origin and SpaceX. Those are the same lunar landers that will bring the astronauts to the surface of the moon, but first they've got to test them.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen to the show anywhere on all the apps, the FM dial. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. I got kids to feed. It helps. We appreciate you doing so. Ken Weaver's in the newsroom. Mason Fleming's producing. We got Josh Tifo in studio. What's up, Josh?
I'm living the dream. All right, let's get into the spicy stuff.
All right, yeah. Are Mormons Christian? So the Pentagon a couple days ago recognized every Christian faith in America as Christian, except one. Mike Lee is from Utah. Is he Mormon?
He is. He's definitely
Mormon.
Very Mormon.
So he was very upset about this. He posted a selfie video. I got the video for you on Super Talk TV on YouTube and Rumble. You can hear the audio on your radio. But he's pissed. You can hear it in his voice. He's like, why wouldn't you recognize us as Christian?
The faith of the American people has always been one of its greatest strengths, as is the fact that the Constitution prohibits the United States government from treating people differently based on their religious beliefs, regardless of what denomination they might be drawn toward, they might belong to, or whether they have any faith at all. It's one of the many things that has strengthened our country, and it's especially important in this circumstance that the government recognize the faith of the men and women who serve in uniform and stand ready, willing, and able to die at any moment as they serve our country in times of war. For that very reason, I think it's very unfortunate that the Pentagon has chosen to identify basically every faith group in America that professes faith in Jesus Christ as Christian, with one exception. That is those belonging to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Which is the Mormon Church. They use the fancy name now. So I found this last night while I was doing research on the topic. This is what Joseph Smith said in his first vision regarding which Christian denomination he should join. This was in 1838 or 1839. He said, "I answered that I must join none of them, for they were all wrong, and the personage who addressed me said that all their creeds were an abomination in his sight, that those professors were all corrupt, that they draw near to me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They teach for doctrines the commandments of men, having a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof." So that's Joseph Smith, History 119, Pearl of Great Price, saying we are not a member of any Christian denomination.
Well, I mean, he is the founder of Mormonism, and you can get into all the personal attacks on Joseph Smith and the fact that he married dozens of women. He married at least one 14-year-old. Some say two 14-year-olds. That's a debated thing in history. At least one. Her name was Helen. I don't know about you. I think that's pretty messed up.
Yes.
But we don't have to get into that. Let's look into the foundation of what they believe. So here's one of the biggest things. They believe that Father God was a man who ascended to godhood, and they believe that Jesus and Satan are two of his sons. They essentially believe that Satan's mad, that Father God picked Jesus to do the rescue mission for Earth instead of Satan, and that's part of why we have all this drama right now. When someone who is Mormon talks about God the Father and talks about Jesus and talks about Satan, they're referring to entirely different beings, entirely different persons. And this is explicitly the result of Joseph Smith and the 3 books that he wrote that he claims are revelation from God: Doctrines and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price, which you just quoted, and the Book of Mormon. So essentially, Christians believe that we have 2 big pieces of revelation from God, the Old Testament and the New Testament. That's the Bible. You probably have one in the studio somewhere. So Mormons believe that there's actually a third part. There's a New Testament, and that was Joseph Smith writing Doctrines and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price, and Book of Mormon. So essentially, Mormonism is the belief that Joseph Smith learned all these things from God that God wasn't ready to tell us until the 1800s, that actually turn the tables over and change all sorts of Christian doctrine. So we live in America. If you want to be a Mormon, you are free to do that, but you can't force Christians to say that Mormons are a Christian denomination when doctrinally that's just not true.
Also, he says that, you're respecting all these Christian religions and they serve and they fight. It's like, well, I don't think that they're instituting a ban on Mormons serving in the military.
Oh, of course not. And by the way, if you're a Mormon serving in the military, God bless you and thank you for serving our country. But that doesn't mean that in whatever process this is, that the United States government is going to reference Mormons as a Christian denomination. I mean, Pete Hegseth doesn't have that power. Only God has that power to redefine reality. So I understand why they're getting very mad about this. I have a lot of Mormon friends who talk extensively about how Mormonism is just another Christian denomination. They call themselves non-creedal Christians. They just believe some different things. They don't just believe some different things. They believe a lot of different things. And another core thing that I want to talk about is the fact that Mormons believe that there is a multi-step process to salvation. So the blood of Christ only takes you so far. Then you need repentance. Then you need someone to lay their hands on you, usually a church leader, to give you the Holy Spirit. You need to be baptized. You need to persevere to the end. But they define that as following all of these ordinances, all these laws, all of these rules within the church until the day that you die. It is essentially a works-based religion. So you look at what Paul says in Ephesians, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not a gift of yourself, not by works, so that no one can boast. You have to basically act like that verse does not exist. So I say all of this to wrap up my argument that Mormons are not Christians. They are not Christians as we define that word here in Western culture. That does not mean that we shouldn't love them. Some of my closest friends are Mormons. Some of the best political operatives I know in the United States of America are Mormons. Some of our biggest political allies in the conservative movement, like Mike Lee, are Mormons, but that does not change the theological reality of this debate.
And they believe some wonky stuff.
Hit me with it.
It's like Space Jesus, magic underpants. I mean, these are the memes that you see around.
And we can get into all that stuff, but fundamentally, the biggest difference is what they believe about what they would call exaltation. So as Christians, we talk about sanctification, what it's like to follow God and become more like him as we go through our Christian life. And there are some Christian denominations that take this a little bit to the extreme, like Methodists, who believe that you can essentially become perfect or near perfect here on earth by just obeying God so well that you're like 99% perfect or 100% perfect. That stuff's a little crazy. So Mormons believe that there are actually 3 tiers to heaven. They believe that a lot of people are in one of those 3, and that only the really, really bad people go into what they call the outer darkness, essentially hell. They also believe a lot of strange things about that. They believe that you can do proxy baptisms that somehow increase the state of dead loved ones who are in one of those 4 states. There's all kinds of interesting things they believe. And that's also not totally set in all of Mormonism. There are things that they argue within Mormonism, as you see that we argue about a lot of things within Christianity theologically. But essentially, they believe that God the Father was a human being who ascended to godhood, that Jesus was a human being who ascended to godhood, and that Jesus and Satan are brothers, and that you, if you follow Jesus and you give your life to him and you repent, and then you do this laundry list of things the Mormon church tells you to do until the day that you die, giving X number of dollars a month, following all of these temple ordinances. I know that you mentioned the garments, that's one of them, but there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them that Joseph Smith puts in those 3 books. Then maybe you can ascend to godhood just like God did.
So, and this is just from my own observation, so you tell me if I'm off base, but it seems like the majority, like there's a lot of Christians, and you go, you got to get more in the Word. But it seems like a majority of the Mormons are just really buried in their text. Like they know it through and through. They're in on it at the church. Like if you're a Mormon, you're all the way in. Is that a fair assumption?
With some of them, and there's a lot of cultural Mormons. So the best way to look at it is actually to juxtapose this argument with the Judaism versus Christianity argument. So religious Jews believe that the Old Testament is the Word of God, and some of them believe in the Talmud and all the other things are additional revelation from God. But you essentially have people who believe that the Old Testament is God's revelation. We as Christians believe that God's revelation is the Old Testament and the New Testament. Mormons believe that there's a New Testament. That's basically what it is. So when you zoom back, the difference between Christians and Mormons is more like the difference between religious Jews and Christians than a denominational squabble. They believe that the Old Testament is God's word, the New Testament is God's word, the New Testament, the 3 books written by Joseph Smith, are also God's word, but somehow the New Testament has the power to supersede revelation in the Old Testament and revelation in the New Testament. Although they pick and choose which elements of the Old and New Testament they want to emphasize, namely, you know what I'm going to say, polygamy, which you see all throughout the Old Testament. And I know that at Bible study yesterday, you and I and some of our friends actually had this debate, this discussion. In the Old Testament, I can't find it. If you're listening to this, call in if you want to refute me. I can't find an example in the Old Testament of God explicitly forbidding polygamy, but he explicitly forbids it in the New Testament. So I don't know what he decided to do in his sovereign will and his sovereign timing, but at some point he said, this is not something that I want for my people. That's one thing that they pick and choose, because there were a lot of Mormons back in the 1800s who loved the idea of having lots of wives, and their founder had dozens, at least one of them being 14 years old.
So do you know Mike Lee? Have you met him before?
I don't know him well, but I will say, removing myself from this theological discussion, Mike Lee is literally one of the best senators in the United States of America.
And that's factually true.
He's extraordinary.
But would you classify him as a cultural Mormon, or is he like dyed in the wool? Because we've had other Mormons, right? Mitt Romney was Mormon.
He was, yes. Yes.
Are these guys culturally Mormon, or are they Mormons?
So I wouldn't know unless I sat down and had lunch with them. And I don't know Mitt personally. I don't know Mike personally. I could tell you if I spent real time with them, but I don't know.
Mike Lee had more to say.
I find this offensive, not just because that happens to be my faith, but not just because it happens to be the faith of tens of thousands of U.S. military personnel, but it's also just repugnant to any sense of decency, any sense of our common heritage and our common belief that the government needs to not weigh in on doctrinal disputes between various religious denominations. And so I respectfully am imploring the people at the Pentagon to reconsider this. Not just reconsider it, but undo it. Secretary Hegseth, tear down that wall.
Stunning and brave. Okay, so
stunning and brave.
Stunning and brave. I mean,
Chris, this is why you're one of the best radio hosts in America.
So, okay, Mormonism aside, should the Pentagon be defining faiths?
I don't know the specifics of what they were doing and why, but I wish that I knew more about the specific situation he's referring to. And maybe you can brief us on it on air and I can give you my live reaction. But making the argument that in some type of classification system, Mormons should be classified as a denomination of Christianity is honestly as absurd as saying that religious Jews or Muslims should be. And I mean, you read earlier on this show exactly what Joseph Smith said about existing Christian denominations. It doesn't make any sense to me.
So here's how this started. On Friday, the Pentagon cut the number of religious affiliation codes from over 200 to 31 to help military chaplains streamline religious support services. The 31 codes include the Church of Latter-day Saints, but not as one of the 21 religions described as Christians. And that's what set the members of the LDS community off into a crash out, including Senators John Curtis and Mike Lee of Utah, saying it's unacceptable for the government entity to characterize a faith in a manner that contradicts the religion's own foundational tenets, which I would go back to. And I'm not a Mormon historian. I just did a little bit of research because I thought this would be an interesting topic to talk about. But in Joseph Smith, History 119, he says, I was answered that I must join none of them. This is his first vision regarding which Christian denomination to join. I answered that I must join none of them. I mean, that's pretty black and white, right?
It's 100% black and white. And you have to ask yourself, why do these very powerful, busy people care so much about a classification code change within the military that most people would have no idea about and most people don't care about? I believe it's because some of these people are very well read and they've studied the Bible and they've studied the Mormon religious texts, and they're probably questioning their own religion. And I'm sure that's true of some people. I don't know how many people this is true for. Maybe you're listening right now. But when you look at what the Old Testament says, what the New Testament says, there are some visible, obvious clashes with what Joseph Smith writes in his three religious texts, with the biggest being what I mentioned. I mean, Paul says in Ephesians, for by grace you have been saved through faith. This is not a gift of yourself. This is a gift not by works so that no one can boast. The Mormon Church essentially gives you this exhausting lifetime roadmap of all these boxes you have to check if you want to someday ascend to godhood. And I bet if you are smart and you are passionate and you are praying to God that he will reveal himself to you, you probably question Mormonism a whole lot if you're within that religion. So I believe that the fundamental reason why so many people are mad about this is insecurity, because they so badly want to be called a Christian denomination because they know that the three holy texts within Mormonism, and I'm not calling them holy by my value, but that they would call them holy. There are three religious texts that they go against what the New Testament says.
And from the outside looking in, and I fully admit I'm on the outside looking in, I would view Mormonism almost in the same tier as Scientology and Jehovah's Witnesses.
And I don't know if I would say that, because there are a lot of things they believe that are similar, but there are a lot of things that are off, and we've broken down some of them on the show right here. But to any Mormons who are listening right now, I want you to know that I love you. And that is exactly why I'm saying the things on air that I am today, because I've got a lot of friends who are Mormons, a lot of political allies who are Mormons, and I have absolutely nothing to gain from saying what I'm saying today. And I love you, and I want you to know that Jesus died for you. He was not a man. He was holy. He created this universe. Father God was not a man. He is holy. He created this universe. These are beings beyond that. So Jesus was not a man. And when I say Jesus was not a man, I mean Jesus was not a man in eternity past. He became a man when he came to earth incarnate. But I'm saying he was not a man who ascended to Godhood. That's what I'm refuting. Again, I take you back to Ephesians, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is a gift. This is not of yourself so that no one can boast. This is not something you can earn. It's something that only Jesus can give you.
Robert in Loretto is a Mormon. I appreciate you calling in, Rob. What's up, man? What are you thinking?
First of all, I hope y'all enjoyed that little picture of me by the little Joseph Smith Sphinx having fun while I was out in Utah last week. I figured y'all needed something goofy.
Let's go.
But
well, tell us where we're wrong, and let's. I'm really happy that you called in because I would love to have the conversation.
Yeah. Now I'm a convert to the church, so I'm not as fully studied as I wish I was. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect on everything, all my knowledge. But one thing I do understand was the polygamy thing. When the LDS Church was being pushed out west, away from the eastern side of the U.S., we had many members of the church at that time that died off from the trip out, and a lot of the polygamy there was where men were taking the wives of the dead men and providing for them. The ones that were able to provide for multiple families were the ones that were allowed to take the multiple wives and take care of them because their husbands died in the trip out there, and that was mostly what it was. Now, that's the understanding I've been given. I can't tell you if that's if that's 100% correct. That's just what I've understood about the polygamy thing. That was mostly saints dying en route to Utah and going out west, and they were granted the polygamy to make sure that those families who no longer had a husband in the priesthood and in the church would have somebody to provide for them on the spiritual level like that.
So one thing I want to add to that, Paul actually gives instructions to the early church to care for widows, and actually gives a process by which the church makes sure that they're widows that are not in a position to remarry. But Paul also defines many, many, many times, including Jesus himself. Jesus also defines marriage as between one man and one woman. So I understand that in dire situations, you need to make sure that you're taking care of women and children who have no man to take care of them, especially in that Wild West type of cultural atmosphere. But what I'm saying is that the New Testament already gave a solution to that. They command the early church to take those widows in, not by giving them in marriage to a man who already has a wife, but for the church to directly care for them.
Yeah. Well, I think this is more to give them legalese and name and structure like that. More, where they weren't supposed to sleep with them and do things like that, and treat them like regular wives. They were to take them in and take care of them like that.
Robert, you said a moment ago that you're more of a recent convert to the LDS Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints. Yes, so if I could ask you, what sold you on that versus a more common Christian denomination?
It was mostly the sense of family and community that it provided for me. It provided a little bit stronger than the Church of Christ I grew up here in Tennessee. There was nothing wrong with the Church of Christ I grew up into, but my brother-in-law was originally a member of the church, his family, and when he married my sister, he took her into the church, and she drugged me along too.
Okay.
But just the family, the sense of community, and the way they've helped me out in my life. There are times I hit way down low. There was even a point where I nearly killed myself drinking antifreeze, and the church helped pull me back from that. That if it hadn't, I would not be sitting here alive right now if it wasn't for the LDS Church.
Well, hey man, I can't argue with your reasoning, and praise God that you didn't take your life. I'm happy for you. I would say just keep studying, man, and try and find your way back. But I appreciate you calling in and giving us some insight.
And I actually want to jump in. I want to ask a question one more time for our caller. Do you believe? I want to know what you believe theologically as part of this conversion. Do you believe that God the Father was a man who ascended to godhood? Do you believe that we as men can ascend to godhood in the celestial realm after this life?
I believe that we were all part of God's family spiritually before the earth, and that the earth was put here as a test of our faithfulness to Heavenly Father. And as far as whether or not Heavenly Father was actually a man himself, that I can't answer. All I know is that He was our Heavenly Father in the spiritual world, and that we are His spiritual children, and that we had our memories of the time in the spirit world wiped, and then we were put here on earth to test and find out our faithfulness to them.
I understand. Well, I appreciate you calling in, and we love you, and I'm so glad that your life's going well now.
Yeah, Rob, appreciate the call, man.
Can I add one more thing real quick?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes.
First of all, regardless of whatever anyone says, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. And as far as I'm concerned, him being my Lord and Savior is what makes me a Christian, not my denomination or what church I go to. Just the simple fact that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior is what makes me a Christian.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Rob. Thanks so much, man. Call in anytime. It's Chris Hand here, and I got to tell you about my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. If you're tired of health insurance that feels like a math test, you got confusing percentages, you get random surprise bills, fine print that bites back, you can simplify everything with Cover Nash. They have a brand new nationwide PPO plan that's going to give you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. No referrals, no red tape, just a $250 deductible, flat $50 copay for any doctors, even specialists. You got an outpatient surgery, $250 copay. Hospital stays, just $1,000 total. Free preventative care. Not that you're excited about a colonoscopy, but at least you're not paying for it. And here's the kicker. No surprise bills, no hidden fees, just real protection from real providers. Now, if that plan isn't the perfect fit, Shane Ring and Cover Nash work with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, so they'll find something that works for your budget and your needs. It starts with a click, covernash.com, or a phone call, 615-465-0023, 615-465-0023. Cover Nash is making health insurance simple. Finally, covernash.com.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers in Wilson County, we've still got East Division Street shut down between Clemens Road and Old Lebanon Dirt Road, where that box truck hit a pole just outside of Mount Juliet. Highway patrols working that crash. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, a woman's hospitalized after a dog attack in East Nashville. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac says police officers forced their way into a home on North 14th Street.
Metro Police say that officers responded to this house right here after reports of a woman screaming inside of the home. Neighbors are the one that heard her needing help, and they called 911. Metro Police say what officers found inside the home forced them to make a split-second decision.
Yeah, they shot and killed 5 dogs they say were attacking that woman. She was rushed to the hospital with severe injuries. A Middle Tennessee couple is recovering after their daughter says their taco truck exploded in Carroll County.
My dad said that the grill wasn't turning on, and when he went to ignite the grill, it just literally exploded from the bottom up. He ran through the flame and went and grabbed my mom and was like, "We've got to get out of here. Like, if we don't go, we're going to die." He said it was like the most terrifying thing he's ever seen, seeing his spouse, literally her skin melt off of her body. It's just a miracle they're alive, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Now, Tim and Tiffany McPherson suffered second and third degree burns, over 30% of their bodies. They're being treated at TriStar Skyline Medical Center here in Nashville. Just one day after the explosion, they marked their 25th wedding anniversary. Well, the nation's trade deficit narrowed slightly in the government's latest assessment. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
The difference between what the country exports and what it imports fell by 1.2% in April in this delayed report from the Census Bureau. U.S. imports of goods and services that month stood at $383 billion. Its exports at $327 billion. Both imports and exports were gaining momentum.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. My wife and I, we joke all the time. We need Zero Res in the car. We get the baseball dirt out of the carpets thanks to our friends at Zero Res. The car's really been taking a beating, but let me tell you, inside the house, crystal clear. Our house has a combination of red dirt, grass stains, whatever the dogs track in, and we always call our friends at Zero Res because it fits right in line with the Make America Healthy Again mindset. They clean carpets without harsh chemicals, no soap residue, just their exclusive ZR water system that is actually going to get everything out. And our carpets look insanely clean. They dry fast, and honestly, they stay clean longer, which matters when you got a house full of kids in the middle of the summer that can't decide if they want to be inside or outside, and they keep coming back and forth. Right now is the perfect time for you to take care of your carpets. We're getting into the heat of summer. The kids, they need somewhere to lay down on the ground and sprawl out. Well, do it on your carpets. Clean it up. These guys are the best. They got close to 4,800 Google reviews, a 4.9 rating. My wife and I are not the only ones using them in Nashville. Call them today, 615-535-9376, 615-535-9376. Ask them about their 2- and 3-room specials, ZeroResNashville.com. 38 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us on all the apps, the FM dial. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things. I got kids to feed. Appreciate you. Josh Tifo's in studio. We've been talking about Senator Mike Lee's very upset that the Pentagon on Friday cut the number of religious affiliation codes from over 200 to 31, and they did it to help military chaplains streamline religious support services. The 31 codes include the Church of Latter-day Saints, but not as one of the 21 religions described as Christian, which has made them crash out. They're very upset about this. We actually have a Loretta on the line, who is also a Mormon, and she wants to weigh in. What's up, Loretta? How are you?
I actually am not a Mormon.
Oh, okay, perfect. My mistake.
That's okay.
What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking here,
Yes, ma'am?
church and state was separated long ago.
Yes, ma'am.
So we shouldn't be really worried about the religion in the military, first of all, because you should be going to protect your home and country. And they have sacrificed so much for us, and thank God for them. Second of all, if you want to go to Mormonism, I don't agree with the fact that you can marry a whole bunch of women or their sisters at the same time, and 14-year-old girls or 13-year-old girls, and is that just another form of slavery like Muslims?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm with you on that. My point where I differ with you is, when you said there was separation of church and state, I'm like, man, if you're going to go overseas and you're going to put your life on the line and you want a religious chaplain of some sort there, I think that's totally fine. I think by all means, with what you're about to.
And I can concur with that.
And also it's important to understand what we mean when we say separation of church and state. So the phrase separation of church and state is not in any of our founding documents. It was actually in a letter in the late 1700s from Thomas Jefferson to the Danbury Baptists, when he was assuring them that the United States would not essentially pick a denomination and make it the Church of America, as you had seen done with the Church of England, which became very politically corrupt. So that does not mean that the nation was free from religion. That meant that we were not going to pick an official state religion, which then meant that the church could be corrupted by the state. So a lot of people think that means that the church's influence should never be on the state. Actually, if the church's influence wasn't on the state, we would become a degenerate country very quickly. That meant that the state's influence was never supposed to be on the church. But I love the heart of your comment, and I agree with you 100%. We got a lot of stuff going on in the country. We got a lot of stuff going on in the world. Why on earth does anybody care what the internal codes in the Pentagon are right now of various religions that people follow that help inform chaplains how to better serve service members in our military? Why are we making a big deal about this?
I agree with that. Our first responsibility should be to take care of us, the Americans that are here. And the thing about this is, it's all about everybody else. But what about our veterans? What about the people that have served or living on the street, but we want to bring people in and just take care of them when they came illegally?
Yep. I'm with you 100%. And
I can walk in Japan illegally, and guess what's going to happen to me? Or China, or wherever.
Yep. You're absolutely.
I'm not going to get welfare and
you're absolutely right. I mean, you might, if there was a country out there that was, and I appreciate the Colorado, if there was a country out there offering me welfare to come move in, I'd consider it.
Can I get an EBT card so I can go to the zoo for free?
Can we go?
That stuff gets expensive. Do I get a free stuffed animal when I have to go through the exit gift shop trap?
Can we go to the museum for free? Is that also in the cards? I mean, so they are the Pentagon on Monday updated its religious affiliation codes after members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints criticized the list because it did not describe LDS as Christian faith. So it looks like they are now back in as a Christian faith when it's all said and done.
There's a lot of people listening right now who are scratching and clawing to make ends meet and trying to make enough to fill up their truck and trying to make rent and trying to feed their kids, and they're wondering why on earth is a United States Senator even talking about this stuff. Yeah. But anyways, before I forget, before the hour wraps, I've got to talk about one of my favorite people in politics. So you had him on a lot. This fight happened back in 2024. So a businessman in Hendersonville, Tennessee, decided that he was going to take on one of the most powerful politicians in our state, State Senator Farrell Hale. Because Chris heard about SB 126, which was a bill Hale passed that essentially gave a tremendous amount of cover to hospitals, especially Vanderbilt Children's, to provide quote-unquote gender-affirming care to children. And in the language, at first it looks like they're banning puberty blockers, but they're actually formally banning it for kids under the age of 9 who are not going to get it anyway because they're not in puberty yet. So the bill, whether accidental or on purpose, and you can debate about whether or not this was just gross incompetence or actual maliciousness to help these hospitals, the bill ended up functionally legalizing and protecting the ability of Vandy Children's Hospital to give puberty blockers to 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds here in the state of Tennessee. It made Chris angry. He ran. I know you supported him. John Rich supported him. Riley Gaines supported him. I supported him. And he had over $1 million spent against him.
Which at the time, it was like the most expensive state senator race. I think it still is.
In Tennessee history.
Yeah.
Probably the most expensive GOP primary of any state Senate race in our history. And he lost 42-58, if I remember correctly. But I love this story because he was going up against pretty crazy odds. Basically, every big establishment politician in the state endorsed against him. A lot of them spent money against him, except for my friend Marsha Blackburn, who did not endorse Hale. So shout out to Marsha for listening to the grassroots there. But nevertheless, I bring all this up because today is Chris's birthday. He's 60 years old today. I don't know what his future in politics is going to look like. That's between him and God and his wife. Let's see what they decide. But I thought that we could celebrate his birthday with a very racially friendly rendition of Happy Birthday.
We got to do the Spanish one.
Oh, of course, because Chris loves diversity.
Cumpleaños feliz.
You think this will get us kicked off YouTube?
Cumpleaños feliz. Te deseamos todos. Cumpleaños feliz.
Is this one safe? Happy birthday, Chris.
We got some pep in it now.
We do.
All right, that's enough.
All right, yeah. Joanna wants to talk about Mormons. What's up, Joanna?
Hey, how's it going today?
We're good. How are you?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Are
Good.
you a practicing Mormon?
I am not a practicing Mormon. No, I'm a Christian.
Okay.
So
I love it.
Be careful.
We got to have her call in more.
Be careful. What
Yes.
are your thoughts on the Mormon religion?
I'm actually very familiar with the Mormon religion. My aunt was a Mormon. I mean, I've been around a lot of Mormons, and unfortunately, they are not Christians. It is not a Christian religion, and we got to call it for what it is. You know what I mean? They don't even they have their own Bible. Okay, so while I believe that people should have the right to have the freedom of religion in the United States, because again, that is protected. We also have to remember that didn't mean that the government has to endorse every religion out there. And we have gone down that road, and that's why we're at. You know, we recognized the Satanic Church. We've recognized all kinds of other things in the United States, and we are in a complete mess right now. As you pointed out, separation of church and state just meant that we didn't establish a church, you know, for the whole government. But we are a Christian nation. We are founded on Christian principles. And if we don't start drawing a line, then we will continue to get those transgender books in the libraries. We will continue to get messy when it comes to religious freedom. I'm putting that in air quotes, okay? And we will continue to get people fighting to have Sharia law in certain cities and places, and they think that they can do that in a Christian nation. So no, I apologize, and I don't apologize. I'm going to take that back. Okay.
I love that. I love the energy.
I love Mormon people, but I don't have to allow my government to pay to have chaplains for them because it is not a Christian religion.
And first off, I want to applaud your historical knowledge of where the term separation of church and state comes from.
Yep.
When Thomas Jefferson wrote that letter to the Danbury Baptists, all he was doing was assuring them that the United States was not going to pick a denomination and create a state church of America as there was a state church of England, which is, by the way, literally why most of the pilgrims fled, because of all the corruption that comes from a government picking a state church, which then makes it very easy for political and cultural and corporate power to bleed into the church and to its power structure. Anyways, I digress. That's not what this is about. I applaud your knowledge of that. At the end of the day, we need to decide what type of nation we want to live in. One thing that shocks me is that it is still functionally illegal in this nation, and has been for decades, for teachers to lead prayer in public schools.
Yep.
So if we are not establishing a state church, then it is the job of representative government to decide what should be illegal and what should not be illegal. And then it's the job of the Supreme Court to interpret the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all the amendments, to decide if what has been passed by that representative government is constitutional or not. So if we believe that it's a good thing for Christian teachers to lead prayer in public schools, if we think that that's going to lead to better mental health outcomes, if we think that that is going to decrease violence in schools, if we think that that is going to decrease teen pregnancy, then it is upon us as the people to demand of our representative government that we make it legal for teachers to be able to lead Christian prayer in public schools. If we believe that it would be a negative thing for teachers to lead Muslim prayer in public schools, then it is on us as the people to push our representatives to pass legislation that essentially carries the wishes of the people. And then it's the Supreme Court's job to decide what's constitutional and what's not. But it's our job to push our elected officials to pass the things that create the nation that we want to live in. We would live in a much better nation if Christians had the ability to lead prayer in public schools. And actually, nothing is set in stone. There's a good chance I could be pushing for that here in the state of Tennessee next session. So
we need it. Joanna, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Let's go to Dean in Spring Hill. Wants to weigh in on the Mormon conversation as well. What's up, Dean?
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
Good, man. What are you thinking?
Definitely a Christian, not a Mormon. It just kind of shocks me the leader and how they went about, and it just seems there's some parallels between that and how the Muslim faith kind of grew. Same type of leadership, same type of kind of a bloody history background. Church I go to, we did have a member that has been, him and his family were lifelong Mormons, and it wasn't mandatory preaching, but he did make a video that we could share, and he talked about everything about his faith, his transition to a traditional Christian church, and he claimed it was a cult from his experience of everything that he had within the church. So,
can you send that email to Chris? I want to see that.
Yeah, email me that.
What's your email, Chris?
Talk to my pastor, make sure he wants to share it. It wasn't mandatory to watch, but he shared it, and anybody could pick it from the church to watch it. Let me see if I can dig that out and get permission from the pastor to share it.
Perfect, man. I appreciate it, Dean. Thanks for the call. I mean, I think that it's important to recognize that America is a Christian nation. And one of the reasons why America is in the shape that it's in currently is because the church has really fallen off.
I mean, at the end of the day, when we say that America is a Christian nation, we're not saying that America established a state church. In fact, that would have crushed the Christian influence over time in our country. We were a Christian nation because we were a nation of Christians, because George Whitefield ignited this huge revival throughout the 13 colonies, and a huge chunk of the American colonists were Bible-believing, God-fearing Christians. That's why they had the courage to stand up to the British and even fight the American Revolution. So when I say that we were an American nation and we must remake our country into an American nation, That means that we need to become a nation of Christians again, which means that if you're listening to this and you are not a Bible-believing Christian, then today can be the day. Romans 10:9 says, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. And if you're a Mormon listening to this, you'd be like, oh, well, I've said those things, and that must mean I'm a Christian. So when I say Jesus, I'm referring to an eternal person who was part of eternity past, who created the world with the Holy Spirit and with Father God, who was not a man who ascended to godhood, was always God, beyond time, beyond space, and then went from that down to the incarnation, into being born of a virgin, being a man here on earth, living a perfect life, dying on the cross for the sins of the world, and rising again from the grave in total victory over hell and death and sin. I love the simplicity of Romans 10:9. It's why you hear me say it so many times, especially at big public events that are more political, where there are people there who are not Christians. If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, Jesus, you're in charge of my life, not me, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. And we become a Christian nation again when you and your family believe that and serve God. When your friends and their family believe that and serve God. When your neighbors and their family believe that and serve God. You get to reap the fruits of living in a Christian nation when most of the nation becomes Christians again.
Josh Tifo, how can we keep up with you off the air?
At Josh Tifo, JoshThifault, at Josh Tifo on pretty much everything.
Appreciate you coming in. It's 11:54. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and Dr. Mitchell has done it again. Nobody can touch Dr. Mitch when it comes to healing and cutting-edge technology, and they have a new device called Medical Bay One. It's a futuristic healing machine designed by Dr. Mitchell himself. You sit back like you're in the Artemis spaceship getting a full-body massage while red light, near-infrared, and photon wavelengths light up your cells exactly how God designed them to respond. And then it stimulates your stem cells for real tissue regeneration. This is epic healing, and they're not offering surgery or painful injections or opioids. No, just the new wave, the tech. And don't forget, they also have non-surgical spinal decompression. Right now, they're running the Epic Spinal Special, which is $33 off each visit. You can launch your pain-free voyage today. It's a call or a click away. Painisbad.com or 615-246-5009. Painisbad.com or 615-246-5009. Go see them. Thank me later. Painisbad.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well. Good. We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls and causing issues, settlement or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt,
All
we
right.
appreciate you.
11:59, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. We've learned a lot today. There's tiers to this. Mormons are space Jesus believers. Scientologists are actually space Mormons.
That is correct.
It's we're learning.
We're learning.
I don't know. I'm being honest with you. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I just think the conversations are fascinating. I appreciate everybody calling in.
They are. They're a fascinating thing.
You've worked for the Mormons.
I worked at Bonneville. They were amazing, and they let us. We got to do radio just like everybody else did. They were not, because everybody thinks they're going to come in. They don't do any of that stuff. They let us be us, and it was great. And they take care of their people. That's one thing I always tell everybody, man. Mormons take care of their people.
Well, you can see it.
Yeah.
You can absolutely see it.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why they don't have many people leaving. And when they do, though, they get banished.
Do
right?
they? I think the Amish. No, the Amish don't really get banished.
The Amish always end up going back.
A lot of times.
They get a wild hair there for a minute, and then they're like,
they go in the Rumsprechen.
This isn't what I thought it was.
Or they're told they have to go back because they're so out of control. It's like, look, you can go to jail or you can go back to your people. They're like, we'll go back to our people.
We had a friend who lived near the Amish, and they kept coming out to their car, and they couldn't figure out why their battery was dead every morning. So they finally installed security cameras, and apparently the Amish kids were sneaking over, and they would listen to their radio in the car until the wee hours of the morning when the battery would die.
That is so
and then
funny.
they would flee the scene.
That is so
Isn't that hilarious?
Funny. Yeah, they want to live. They know what's going on out there.
The older I get, the more I think the Amish actually got it right.
Somewhere between 1863 and 1884.
It was peak. Chad's in next. It's 12:01 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.